Adam, man, looks like we got a little bit of Tennessee news today. Looks like the Vegas odds for, at least on FanDuel, I think we're for the amount of games Tennessee's going to win, they had it 7.5 on odds there.
Yep.
Um, for that, I think you've seen something too that said maybe 6.5. So general consensus, it kind of sounds like that 7 game range is kind of where we're sitting at, and obviously Vegas is going to do half games because it's going to be over under, things like that on what you think they're going to do.
Right.
How do you feel about that, man? How do you feel about Tennessee getting a 7.5 on FanDuel? Just kind of in that range there with the Vegas odds for the games that they would win this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no surprise, to be honest with you, dude. I mean, we got so accustomed to chasing that 10-win season, 9-win season, and stuff like that. But you look at the key pieces that we've lost, and
Yeah,
an entirely different coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. It wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee does take that step back a little bit this year. Um, I'll be honest, and I know we're gonna have a dedicated episode to the entire Tennessee schedule. Obviously, when it gets closer to the season, I mean,
right.
spring ball's right around the corner, man. We're getting closer and closer as the days go by. Um, I'll be honest with you though, man. I mean, just taking a look at the schedule, just like a quick overview of it, 7.5 wins. If you took the over on it, that would be an 8-win season. I think that is a tall task, just based
Yeah,
off my initial impressions. Because as it stands right now, dude, we don't know who the quarterback is. We don't know how the defense is going to mesh together.
right.
We have some new pieces on offense mixed with some old pieces that we had last year that were proven. So
Yeah.
an 8-win season, if you took the over on 7.5, I think right now is being a little generous. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and maybe they're doing, maybe I think some of those pieces that we brought in could be some really good potential upgrade pieces, especially on defense,
Right.
which I know we'll get into more of that as, and time's going to tell on that too. We might have a different outlook, obviously after spring ball,
Yeah.
after things kind of get rolling. We do have some key weapons back on offense, so I guess they probably basing it off some of that, being, 7.5 was a little bit of I thought the same thing. If the 8 win would be a little bit maybe high, I'm thinking, right now my gut wants to tell me more in that 7 win kind of range, with just the type of
Yeah.
schedule they got, some of the unknowns that are going to obviously change. Um, and a lot of it's the difficulty in the schedule this year compared to last two, man. If you were giving us last year's schedule again, um, there is the question of the quarterback piece and Chris Brazzell, been moving on and not having him, but we do have some key options there as far as weapons on offense. Um,
Hmm.
and I think if we had the exact same schedule, our defense, I don't think is going to get any worse. I think there
No.
might be at least some improvement on it. I would expect. Um,
Yep.
so I could see if it was the same schedule being safe with that. Maybe I would imagine that this year's team could probably. Um, you win about the same amount of games, and maybe, and that it all depends on the quarterback position, of course. Though I think for
Yeah.
that, but so I could see that guess. But the difficulty in schedule we have is kind of what makes me a little bit more in that, you know,
Yeah.
when you first said 6.5, when you heard that one thing that had said 6.5, I actually kind of was thinking that's real fair,
Yeah.
because
Same here.
um,
Same here.
over it you're going 7, under it 6. But 7.5 still, I mean, still pretty close. I guess I could see that. I'm definitely not. I'm not in that boat where I'm like disappointed and been like, why are they predicting us to be so low? That's not the question. So I definitely I'll take a 7.5 Vegas guess right now. I think it's
Yeah.
fair with all the unknowns. Um, and time will tell. And that may
Yeah.
change kind of on us too. But definitely just wanted to kind of mention that, and give a little talks on that. Do you have anything you want to add to it, really? Anything as far as
Well,
with those odds?
not necessarily Tennessee per se, but it is interesting to go to FanDuel right now and take a look at the win totals for other teams.
Yeah,
Right now, their projected win totals. Looking at it right here, Mike, just some of our just looking at some of our rivals in the SEC, got Alabama under over 8.5 wins.
Yeah.
Um, Florida, they have us projected with the same amount as Florida at 7.5 wins. Georgia, no surprise, 9.5 wins. LSU, interesting enough, first year with Lane Kiffin and all that good stuff, over under 9.5 wins. And then
So
the big one who everyone's kind of praising and kind of talking about is going to do really good this year, which they've said that the past few years, is
Texas.
Texas. Yeah, and they've got a 9.5 over under for total wins as well.
Yeah.
So that I looking at stuff like that's kind of cool, man, because you could get on there right now and place a bunch of bets, and if that's
They
kind of
hit.
like big picture bets, man, and if they
Yeah.
hit, you typically win some big money on that.
Yeah. Yeah. This far out, and I might have to check on a couple of those, man.
Pretty cool.
Just I got a little Vegas trip coming up soon, so in the spirit of that, I might have to go ahead and log me in a couple bets on FanDuel. Um, if good, which brings up a question I do have on it. So as of right now, I know this is not our official record prediction because we things that will come out right before season,
Right.
obviously starts when a lot of stuff is kind of showcased itself before the season begins. But as of right now, if you're hitting that button, man, for over under on that 7.5, what are you taking right now on that? This is not
Uh,
betting advice, by the way. This is just what we
right,
would do
right,
at
right.
this moment.
Yeah, so obviously this is subject to change. I do reserve the right to change my mind on this as the
Yeah,
season gets closer.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
but if I was getting ready to, I'm logged in already on FanDuel. If I was getting ready to just put money in my account on FanDuel and go ahead and make the bet, Mike, I'm thinking I would have to lean the under on the 7.5,
Yep.
uh, as it stands right now.
Yeah. Yep, I'm taking the under on the 7.5 as it stands right now, only because of the unknowns and because of that seven. If it was six and a
Right.
half, I would actually take the over. So I don't see us going under 50, under 6 wins or anything. But
Yep.
um, because 7 wins would be that under right now, and that's on that though. So it's not the 6.5. I'll take the under on that 7.5.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Another cool thing to look at
certainly
on there,
dig in.
Mike, is the national championship winner. So I know it's I mean it's like so this is like further
This
out
one
than just
can
the
win you
regular
money if you
season.
predict this one.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So as of right now, I don't know if you've looked at it, Mike, but and then anybody watching, tell us who you got or who you think or if you're even bold enough to make a bet this early.
Yeah.
Um, but as of right now, I don't think they're always there. I mean, it is kind of a surprise to me that they're already just listed as the number one. But Ohio State, of course, they're there every year. They are the favorite to win, of course, plus 550. Then Texas, right under them. Really, no shocker. They're always mentioned in it as well. Here's
It's like
here's
that happened
your
this year,
favorite.
and all of a sudden didn't work out. But anyway,
And then one of your favorite teams, Mike, is on here.
yeah,
Notre Dame. They're sitting at number three.
yeah.
Um, third best
I,
odds to win.
they probably do got a good shot to make
Well,
it to the
they've definitely
playoffs.
got they've definitely got the red carpet rolled out for them to at
Yeah.
least make the playoffs.
Making the playoffs is a
Um,
high one. I would bet that one.
yeah, 100%. That's not
Making
on
it
here, unfortunately.
winning the championship, I think, goes down significantly once Notre Dame gets in the playoffs. But
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Kind of odd that they're third favorite, third
yeah,
best favorite odds to win the national championship, and then three more: Indiana, Oregon, Georgia. So
yeah. Hmm.
out of those six, Georgia has the least odds to win it, and then Ohio State has the best odds to win it. Just wanted to throw that
Gotcha.
out there real quick.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we wanted to touch on that, just get a little football news in there for you, stay up to date on that. Now we are kind of shifting into a little bit of basketball because March Madness is coming up and everything, and this next topic is going to be on NBA, still basketball related, but
Yep.
and I want to go ahead and take time for still listening. We are actually going to be doing a little collab here coming up with Bench Points podcast. They uh, they do college basketball heavily. So
Right.
these guys are. much more informed on us on college basketball, but we're lucky enough to kind of get invited to be a guest with them on doing some March Madness talk coming up for the tournament. So,
Yeah,
and even if every year, man, I don't know about you, and I seem to always pay attention to the March Madness.
yeah,
Even if I haven't watched the basketball season, it's crazy. March Madness
yeah.
hits, and it's always a big moment. I love filling out a bracket and stuff, and I
Oh
end up
yeah.
finding myself doing a little research so I can try to make some accurate predictions out of bracket.
Mhm.
But I've been in these little bracket tournaments sometimes and learn, man, that like some of the people that don't even they literally pick for which color they like almost, and it's as far as the jerseys go, and it's just like, oh, this is my favorite color jersey. I like them better, or I like this, and
Oh
and
yeah.
and still somehow do better. So it's there's some educated guesses going on. I feel like,
One
um,
hundred percent. 100%.
but wanted to kind of switch to a little bit of a basketball topic here that in a lot of the basketball season being full swing and eventually NBA is going to get in their playoffs shortly out after it's a little few months down the road, but
Hmm.
um a topic, man, I think that people love to talk about in basketball, and everybody's got an opinion on it, and um, would be if you were to make a top five starting roster all time in the NBA, who
Yeah,
would you pick? Now, this isn't going to always mean that. Also, I mean, in my mind, anyways, I'm building a top five roster based off what a team that's going to play well together, right? A team that I
yeah,
think so everybody I pick at that position may not necessarily be considered the greatest of all time at that position, but you know what what team are you going to make? And obviously I can't go pick the top five shooting guards and put them on a team, right? So
right.
there might be somebody left out on mine, and I'll just say maybe some of you thinking, what about him as a shooting guard, or what about him as this? But I'm not doing top five shooting guards. I'm doing a top five team. So I'm trying to pick a team that I think could their strengths could kind of build with each other a little bit, mesh well together. And
Yeah,
some you may have in mind just the top five players at that position, which I would understand as well. But if that all kind of makes sense, um, I'll tell you what we can do, Adam, and we'll kind of alternate back and forth here who we pick. I'm just curious. I don't want to just name off the team, and then we'll start with positions. So
yeah. Sure. Go
um,
go for it, man.
we'll start with point guard, and I can go first with it, and then you give your point guard, and then I'll let you go first with shooting guard, things like that, just to kind of give an idea. That
Yep.
way, we're not just going down the line, and I can see what you're picking first too. People know we're not
Yep.
just influencing each other on what we're picking because we haven't discussed this. Um,
Right.
really, I mean, we may have been talking at some point, but this isn't something recent that's on our mind that we've been discussing with each other or anything. Um, for me, man, I'm going to start with my point guard on the team that I'm building. And it does come down to two for me on what would have been the choice, but on this case, I'm going to go with Steph Curry. And the reason I'm going to put him as my point guard, I know that may lack a little bit on the defensive side of the ball and physicality with his size and everything compared to some other point guards you could put here. But I think Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, and I think it's pretty obvious. I
Yeah.
mean, man, the man's got a 3-point shot that's unreal. So I think the level of scoring that he adds in that for my team is going to be something I need there to get that three
Yep.
point shot. Because in today's game, you got to be able to shoot threes too. Um, and so for me, I think for the points wise of what he can do, and Steph's got some handles too, man, and his ability to pass the ball and facilitate. I mean, he is a true point guard,
Right.
for his team, and the impact he makes on his team, and even in the Olympics when he did finally get to play in that Olympic run and see some of the stuff he did and how they relied on him in big moments. Um, with that shot he's got when he's on, man. I mean, he's
Yeah.
unstoppable.
It's scary.
Yeah, and so that's truly why I picked Steph Curry to be my point guard on this team.
Nice. Yeah. So on mine for my point guard, obviously all time starting five. Um, I flirted with the idea of putting Steph on there. Obviously for everything that you just mentioned. But if I'm going all time and I need someone to play an all around game,
Yep.
whether they're giving me some points or dishing the ball around or playing insane defense. I chose to go with John Stockton, and I know I'm taking it back a little old school with my starting five, Mike, to just give you a little bit of
Yep.
foreshadowing on the rest of my picks. But in my opinion, for my point guard, how can you go wrong with having the all-time assists leader and the all-time
Yep.
steals leader for your guy that is dishing the ball out? Obviously, no, I'm not saying the man can't shoot threes, but that's not what he was really known for. But if you've
Yep.
got a dual threat to dish the ball to your playmakers and to play defense as an all-time steals leader, I mean, the
Yep.
man's a Hall of Famer. He's known for having just a super crazy high IQ, basketball IQ.
Yep.
I just felt like I couldn't go wrong with John Stockton. I've
Yep.
always been a
For
fan.
sure.
Fun fact about John Stockton, to my understanding, he never missed the playoffs in his career. So
Nice.
um, that in itself is absolutely
Oh yeah.
insane. All time leader in games played uh, for Utah, for
Yep.
that franchise, all time leader in games played as well. So the
Oh yeah.
man, out of his entire career, I think I saw it somewhere one time, but the amount of seasons that he played all 82 games is
Yeah.
just unreal. Absolutely unreal.
That's awesome pick, man. Honestly, and yeah, when you talk about old school, but my second pick for me was Magic Johnson, but
Yep.
John
Nice.
Stockton's definitely up there. But I just wanted to throw it out there. I was definitely thinking old school some too in my thinking this all
Yeah.
time list. But yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a wrong answer on a lot of these that we're doing because I
Oh,
think
no.
it's going to be the team we're building, and it sounds like that's going to be
Right.
your facilitator for sure on the team you're
Oh,
building.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and this type of thing right here, it's always debatable.
Yes.
It's always controversial to some people, but at the end of the day, dude, it's up
Yeah.
to each individual who's creating this list. That's their team. That's their
I'd be
starting five. So,
I'd be willing to bet either one of these teams that me and you're about to build would be a record-breaking winning team. So,
oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
if it
absolutely,
meshed. Um, but yeah, man,
absolutely.
that's a great pick, and I'll let you go first here for your shooting guard position as well.
yeah. As far as shooting guard goes, man, I don't know of anyone that wouldn't have this man as their starting shooting
Yeah,
guard. It's no question. No, you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to guess it. It's Michael Jordan.
yeah,
The greatest of all time, six-time champion, numerous, just that. I'm not even going to go over the accolades.
yeah,
All you got to say is Michael Jordan.
yeah,
Um,
and
the cool thing about my starting five so far is, Michael Jordan and John Stockton battled each other numerous times
oh yeah,
in the playoffs, back in their careers. Both
yeah,
very durable players, obviously. You
for sure.
know, eh, I don't even need to explain that pick.
I don't think so, man. And I'll just go ahead and tell you my pick is Michael Jordan at shooting guard, my all-time favorite player, and the GOAT, man. I mean, he's
100%.
in my opinion the greatest of all time.
Yep.
And again, I don't have to explain why. All the
Yep.
reasons I could list, I could make a book out of it. He's my shooting guard for sure, man. And I'm gonna go Michael Jordan for my shooting guard on this
Yep.
for this team. Moving into kind of the small forward position, this is where I think talks get real interesting too, because there's a lot of different guys people would start putting in these positions. I mean, point guard, you still got several positions. Shooting guard, you'll have people that won't pick Michael Jordan, but you got a lot of percentage that's going to pick Michael Jordan there.
Yep.
For the small forward position, man, I'm actually going to go with LeBron James. And I know LeBron gets a lot of hate in his career for things, and there's a lot of other different reasons. Um,
Yep.
for me, with LeBron, with his size and the ability to play, he does have the ability to play every position on the floor. And he's actually a
Hmm.
good facilitator. He is, especially
Yep.
later in his career, he's became really good at being able to pass the ball. Um, and he can play defense. I mean, he's had some key block moments and big time moments, like one of his infamous blocks when he in the championship series against Golden State in that Game Seven. My opinion, his best moment in his career when he had I mean, a crazy performance in the championship series when they came back to beat Golden State, and that's going to be the staple of his career. Now I know he's not always been successful in the championship rounds and stuff, but another thing I think LeBron works on my team is outside the athletic ability and playing at all positions and being able to facilitate. I think LeBron does lack in the being the guy who's going to take the last shot, being the guy who's going to. I really do. I don't think he has that mentality that you want in that moment. But for
Right.
this team, he doesn't have to be. The team
Right.
that I'm building, and the reason I wanted him on there is because it's kind of crazy to say, but LeBron is kind of a role player on this team that I've got, in my opinion, and he really is. He's not going to be the guy. You're going to have Jordan, you're going to have Steph, taking those last shots.
Right.
LeBron is a I think would if it all played well together, LeBron would be great at being able to facilitate to these people. Um,
Yep.
and his team might, Jordan and them around him, it toughen him up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Get him ready
100%.
for those moments. So,
That's all he
uh,
needs.
yeah, and I think if he has somebody around him that can take those last shots, but he can be a team role player on this, that's
Yeah.
why I've got LeBron in on
Yep.
this team. I think he fits with this team of being able to do what he needs to do and not having to
Yep.
worry so much about being that guy. So that's
Right.
where I think that strength would come in, having LeBron on this team.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Without question, man. Honestly, I've got LeBron as my small forward as well. For all the reasons that you mentioned. I mean, I didn't really hear you say this, but I mean, even just rebounding the ball and his athleticism and his quickness with the ball. I mean, can you imagine him snagging the rebound and instantly turning full sprint up court, and Michael Jordan's already on the other side of the court, running
Oh yeah,
towards the goal. I mean, those two on a team would be absolutely unreal. And yes, LeBron does get a lot of hate, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm not the biggest fan, but I do have respect
yeah,
for what he's accomplished in the game of basketball. And you'd be a fool
yeah,
not to at least acknowledge his accomplishments.
yeah,
Yeah, an all-time roster. Even if you didn't have him as a starter, he would at least be, without question, on an all-time roster.
oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think John Stockton mixed with LeBron James is both being able to facilitate. Um, Man, I've got some passers on my team.
yeah,
Uh, I put LeBron on there just for his sheer athleticism and his ability to, like you said, facilitate and also
yeah,
rebound, and then obviously score as well.
yeah,
So
oh
it's a
yeah,
no brainer. It's a no brainer.
yeah. All around, he's a great all around player in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he's going to be known for. I think the most is how all around he was.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think the biggest thing that you mentioned about putting him on the starting five is putting him on the team with the people that we're putting him on the team with. That changes his
yeah,
entire mentality, and
yeah,
probably raises his game further than it's ever been raised. Obviously,
yeah,
because you've seen what he did whenever he was playing with the likes of Dwayne Wade and playing with, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
playing with those guys. But you
yeah.
also see what he did when he was on the Olympic teams with Kobe and all the other
Kobe,
superstars.
exactly.
His level of play was just raised
Yeah,
beyond what he gives you on a weekly basis on a
yeah.
regular NBA team. So
Absolutely, man. And shout out and rest in peace to Kobe. He would just so everybody knows, he'd be my number two shooting guard if I had
100%,
if I had a
without question.
if I was building a full team, he'd be on there. He'd be that
Yep.
he just happens to have Jordan sitting there.
Yep.
And but he'd be my number two shooting guard for sure. Um,
Yeah, if this was a lottery pick, Mike, and you and I couldn't choose the same players, and you had first pick, and you went
yeah,
Coke, and you went Mike,
yeah.
I promise you, I would have went Kobe afterwards.
Yeah, and I know you would. I know you're a huge Kobe fan too. So, yeah, I definitely know. I just wanted to throw that out there when you mentioned that with the team.
Yep.
This is no disrespect to Kobe whatsoever because he would be
At
that
all.
that number two shooting guard for me.
Yep.
Um, I guess now, man, if you want to go with the power forward that you would choose,
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a player that I think is truly special. One of the last of the dying breeds with the class of Kobe Bryant and players like
mhm,
that. a player that played his entire career with one franchise, 19 seasons, 5-time champion. I got to put Tim Duncan as my power forward, man.
Yeah,
I watched basically his entire career. Um, growing up, watching him on those Spurs teams, the IQ levels out of this world, the ability to
yeah,
score around the basket, not just under the basket, but around the basket. Killer jump shot, absolute animal on the rebounds. Like I said, high IQ level, even a
yeah,
facilitator as well, low key a facilitator.
yeah,
Um, Tim Duncan is always one of my favorite players of all time. And pairing him up with LeBron James and
yeah.
Michael Jordan, it's just this, it's nuts.
It's mind
Absolutely
blowing.
nuts.
Man, and it's funny. I promise we haven't discussed this. Tim Duncan is my power forward as well. And I and
Yep.
I had it. And part of me almost wants to change just to have something different for the podcast, but I'm sticking to what to what So I had this in mind before this even started. We
Yep.
had it. We
We,
have it down who we wanted, and so it just shows we're on the same wavelengths on a lot of things. I think, but I'm going Tim Duncan as well, man. It's just undeniable
yep.
power forward for me. And I think, like
Yep.
you said, with the teams that we're building right now, he just meshes so well with that. He's a
Yep.
champion. I mean, it's Tim Duncan for me, man, as a power forward as well. And I've had
Yep.
this in mind for a long time. So um, we're the same on these last three picks.
Yep.
But on that,
It
um,
wouldn't surprise me if we're same on the last pick either, but I'll just
I,
say that I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I have a feeling we will, and I know there's going to be, and we're sinners, man. There's a lot of people that can be picked into this with greats and all time and everything, and I could see a lot of people picking some different sinners and having their argument.
Yep.
For my team, man, I'm going Shaq. Um, I think Shaq was just so dominant, man, when in his prime of
Unreal.
the physical presence is what it is. And obviously, I don't have Shaq being put up on the free throw line as my is my main guy to pick when if there's a technical foul. I'm not picking Shaq to send out there.
Right.
But on this team, I've got shooters. I've got guys. Even like LeBron now too. His game now with the 3-point shot has improved dramatically, and I've got Steph Curry. I don't need
Yep.
big time shooters. I got Michael Jordan, and which is I mean mid range unreal, in clutch. I don't need Shaq to be knocking down threes.
At
The
all.
dominance and the physical presence underneath the goal, man. I mean, on offense and defense, just a monster,
Yep.
dude. And for me, that's the
Yep.
reason I picked Shaq. Um,
Yep.
and I'll let you make your pick just to see where we're at, and then I'll mention some other ones I thought could have been. Obviously that will be mentioned on a lot of people's, but I'm going to go
Yeah.
with Shaq on the center, dude.
Yeah, man. I have Shaq as well. Without question. I mean,
Yeah,
other than like, I guess it really just depends on who you ask, but just the pure dominance underneath the
yeah,
basket. I mean, an absolute force of nature. Um,
yeah,
and really athletic. A lot of times when someone's that big,
yeah,
you wouldn't expect them to be super athletic, but Shaq's athleticism is off the charts. I
yeah,
did, however, I will admit this, man. I didn't have a tough time, but I narrowed it down between these two, and it was Hakeem Olajuwon and then Shaq. I
yeah,
was kind of debating which one of those that I would want, but
yeah,
I think like you said, just Shaq's pure dominance
yeah,
it's hard to pick anyone over him for an all time starting
yeah,
five. Can you
yeah.
imagine, dude, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, and Shaq underneath the rim or around the basket snatching rebounds?
No,
Um,
no,
it's just so
just
stupid, man. It's crazy.
it'd be unreal, man. And I know there's going to be there's Wilt and Kareem
Yeah, of course.
Abdul-Jabbar, some people that um, an idea that floated around in my head was potentially, which I didn't want to leave Tim Duncan out on power forward, man, because he's true power forward.
Yep,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was able to kind of play that power forward or center, kind of
yep,
back and forth on that.
100%.
So flirted with the idea of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a power forward and Shaq as a center would also be
Yep,
crazy nasty, um,
yep,
in my opinion. And there's some guys today. I mean, there's some centers today that are that bring maybe not so much as the physical dominance like Shaq did on that, but they bring some of the ability to shoot outside, some things that a little bit of that ability that some of these centers have nowadays. The center game's really changed.
yep.
Um, but I could see arguments if you were making a team a little bit more shooters. You could have like some of those centers who can even shoot the three and stuff in a lot of today's game. Um, so I definitely see there being different arguments. It's just for the team I was building, I think the team you were building, kind of having Shaq just makes sense, man. Being just a dominant presence under the goal.
Oh yeah.
Um, so just to say it again, just
Oh yeah.
for everybody watching, Adam, if you get your top five again, just or your top five starters there, if you want to give that
Yeah.
in order.
Yeah. So point guard, I got John Stockton. Absolute animal on both sides of the ball, dishing the ball, playing incredible lockdown defense.
Yep.
Shooting guard, Michael Jordan. No explanation needed. Small forward, LeBron James. No explanation needed there either. And then I've got Tim Duncan at power forward and Shaquille O'Neal at center. So we only
Yep.
differed on one thing,
One position, man, and
That's
we
kind of
again,
crazy now that you mention it.
as we didn't discuss this, and for me, point guard Steph Curry, shooting guard Michael Jordan, small forward LeBron James, power
Yep.
forward Tim Duncan, and center Shaq. Um, and we may have to eventually come back on this a little bit and do like, all right, what if we was going to build our second string on that? Like, who would be our bench players coming off the bench and playing and doing a full 10? Maybe, or maybe we need to
Yeah.
maybe we need to go into that. I think we could differ some on that too, because I know I got some different ideas for what I would do in
Oh yeah.
that case.
Yeah.
So I think we could probably definitely at some point come back to this, and we'll remember mention our starting five again, and then we'll do if you guys want, we'll do a second team on that too to kind of give us a full team. I mean, I know that's not a full roster with 10 people, but just
Yeah.
an all around
Yeah.
kind of who would be our second string guys, or maybe we even build a full team. I don't know, but just kind of wanted to hit on this topic though. Kind of get a little shift over into some basketball coming up.
Yeah.
We're not with March Madness coming up and stuff. We're not gonna be spending a ton of time on basketball. We may, I'm sure we'll mention eventually down the line on who wins the NBA championship this year or something. Uh,
Yeah.
but um, but just kind of getting in a little bit of a basketball mode for a little while too.
Oh yeah.
We wanted to kind of get into that. Any of you watching, leave us please comment your top. Like we'd love to hear what teams you all would build. So I think it's something kind of fun to do. I don't really look at it as an argumentative type of thing. I look at it as, all right, what team would you build? What and give us
Yep.
your ideas and who you think. You can let us know if you like our idea or not. We see we see positive and negative comments, and and hey, I don't look at it as a negative if you're arguing that you don't agree with my team or something. I think it does come down. I'm sure there's a statistic. You could statistically look it up and plug it into a computer and it tell you who statistically would be the best
Right.
starting five team ever. But ultimately this is kind of an opinion in my and I think
One
this is an
hundred percent.
opinion based. There's a lot of guys could fill that role. Um, but yeah, let us know who's your starting five. Um, and if you're still watching, you do appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us out, and be ready to check us out. I'll I'll probably make like a little short announcing when we're going to post this one because now this episode comes out on Tuesday like normal, but
Yep.
this is going to be a special episode coming up that we'll be collabing with a little bit of March Madness here. So we'll have at least some clips or something. I'm sure some things that we're gonna add in there, share their video, that we'll be a part of. And that's
Hmm.
probably what I'll do is kind of share it. Make sure you check these guys out. We'll make sure to put them in there, and they're a cool group of guys. This will be our first time really kind of getting to meet and talk with them, on things, and I've kind of, they started similar, I think, to when we did. Kind of reached out
Hmm.
to us a long time ago. They kind of their vibe and our vibe kind of goes together. I feel like. So looking forward to this episode we're going to do with them. They're the experts on college basketball, man. Everything I see,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be like us. They would say they're not experts, but they definitely. I've watched some of their stuff. They dig in on college basketball. But they also, they give that real chill kind of vibe to things too. So,
Yep.
um, cool group of guys. Looking forward to meeting them and doing a podcast with them, man. So
That'd be
be our
cool.
first collab, man. So we're looking forward to it.
Yep.
Um, Adam, anything you want to add on this?
Now, before you said all that, I'm not sure that you mentioned their name. It's the Bench Points podcast. So
Yeah, yeah,
go. I know we
yeah,
mentioned it earlier in the episode, but yeah, go ahead
yeah.
and
You're
check
right.
them out. And obviously coming together for an episode, I think that'll be really special. Super excited about it. I appreciate them for even thinking about us. To be honest
Yeah,
with you,
yeah,
extending out the invitation, inviting us on their platform. And that's how things like this grow, Mike. Their fan
yeah,
bases will get introduced to us. Our fan base will get introduced to them. So
yeah.
it's nothing but good can come from this, and I'm super excited for the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, man, as always, dude, this has been a fun one. Coming at you with different topics and stuff. We'll
Oh yeah.
and we'll make sure here to we didn't get to in this one, but we'll give you some new random weird sports. I'm sure we'll have some in our future ones here. So if you were
Oh
looking for
yeah.
that today, we don't have that for you today, but we will have that going forward as well. So, but hey, it's been fun as always, Adam, and I'll see you, man, on the next one.
All right, brother. Take care.